My name is Yadollahi. I'm the president of QP Local 79, representing 30,000 members who work for the City of Toronto, TCHC, TSSS, and Hennick Bridgepoint Hospital. I'm joined today by our Chief Steward, Aimee Carnell, who works in the Shelter Division and when she is not working at the local. Local 79 members are intimately involved in the work that takes place with unhoused folks in our city. As you know, of course, our members work for Toronto Shelter and Support Services, including Streets to Homes, in Parks, Forestry and Recreation. Our Parks Ambassadors are assigned to specific parks who, across the city, and many workers who run community centers interact with unhoused folks on a daily basis. Municipal licensing and standard workers are called upon to respond to community complaints. I want to start by letting this committee know that the workers who work with the unhoused folks in our city firmly believe that we must invest in services and supports for every person who lives in an encampment or uses the City of Toronto shelter space. After a decade of austerity, our city is crumbling. 90,000 families are on the wait list for deeply affordable housing, and even City of Toronto workers are now having to use our shelter system to put a roof over their heads. Our shelter workers know that the system we operate is at full capacity and does not suit the complex needs or situations that involve family members, community members, or pets. We know that the solution to the crisis of folks living in tents is permanent, affordable housing, not a bed in a shelter. In their letter to the committee, the Mayor and Councillor Bravo emphasized key action items that would alleviate the pressure on our shelter system and create a more sustainable strategy. While we look forward to the proposal from the division on a pilot program of an enhanced system that would allow for complex case management, I would like to caution the city around the contracting out of work of Local 79 members. As I mentioned previously, our workers perform what they do is truly a labor of love. Across divisions, in order to help support our most vulnerable residents, it would be a great disservice to their work to contemplate even slightly the contracting out of their work. It is also clear that other levels of government, the Ontario government, through immediate rollout of the Canada-Ontario Housing Benefit, and the Government of Canada, through their responsibility of the crisis and homelessness among refugees, have a clear role to play. Local 79 remains a willing partner in lobbying and advocating efforts to other levels of government. We understand the city simply cannot do it alone. I want to end by once again thanking our members who do this incredible and important work on the front lines every day. They truly are the unsung heroes of the City of Toronto and some of the crisis that's happening. Thank you, and we'll take any questions.
So you're here just to answer questions? Okay, thanks. Do you have any questions of the deputant? Councillor Fletcher?
I know the Parks Ambassador program is an important one for to be speaking with people and an enhanced role as far as assisting people getting identification and plugging them in. And I don't know if that, if you could comment on what you might need or what the city might need in order to fully play that role now in the many more parks that have encampments.
Yeah, me and Aimee were just looking into it. We need more. That's the reality. We just need more Parks Ambassadors. There just isn't enough. The work is a lot. I think there's a handful of them that work across the city. If you wanted to add something.
Reacting to
You have a microphone.
the work that they do. The work that they do, reacting to overdoses in parks as well. It is important, crucial work. The parks are open every day, and homelessness doesn't end after 5 o'clock. And our Parks Ambassadors are out there, all day reacting, supporting, responding to medical crisis as well. So the work that they do is incredible. This is a program that should be growing, not shrinking, and the city should be investing in Parks Ambassadors at the city.
Thank you.
Questions of the deputant, Councillor Moyse?
Thank you. Thank you for your deputation. quick question. Just to piggyback on what Councilor Fletcher just said. We have parks ambassadors and we have streets to home staff. What are your thoughts about amalgamating the two? Are their roles different, or is there similarities? Is there an overlap? I know you mentioned that we should have more parks ambassadors, but I'm just wondering if that is something that we can look at or consider.
I think there's points where they can collaborate on them. Amalgamating them and making, like, I think the Parks Ambassadors serve a role that is more intimate, in person, sort of on the move, whereas Streets to Homes folks are more programmed when they're doing these things. And I think in responding to homelessness and the crisis, we do need to be responsive in the moment. And so I think we do need a collaboration of the two, but not to merge them together. I think they should be run independently. But I've always said that there is always intersections and overlaps. And so the different divisions, it's important for them to work together to figure out what is the best way for this approach. So yes, I agree with you that I think there is some space for communication. I actually don't know if the divisions are talking to each other, if there's work being done collaboratively, but I think, and I know Gord is here and I know Kathy was here as well, if there's some conversations that could happen between those groups, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You, any other questions of the deputant? Thank you for being here.